All right, and we're back with the program. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is my good friend indeed. It is Ben Arnot. You got to check out what he's doing today at SmokingHotConfessions.com and basically type in the words Smoking Hot Confessions, and SHC will just come up all over the place on any medium, any social media, any forum, any outlet. And the group that he has on Facebook that has over 10,000 people, I think, on it. If you're 15,000 people, at least on your page, you've got 15,000 people you like. So there are thousands and thousands of people who just basically follow this man. I hope it's not like a cult, man. I hope I've not been part of a. Well, you know what? Sometimes your food smells so good from where I'm sitting here in the States. You know what? I might be a food cult. So there you go.
I'm still working on my tax-free status, so it's not a cult yet.
Okay. Well, it does drive me towards Costco, towards the meat section every time I do. But he is a good man indeed. You got to check out what he's doing today at Smoking Hot Confessions. Everywhere you go, it is Ben Arnot. It's always great to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been a while since I've seen you now, I think, but it's good to be here, and it's good to see that you're well and that your show's doing so well as well. Every time I jump onto Facebook, I see Pop Culture Cosmos everywhere.
Well, I'm trying to be as active as I can out there, whatever it's NBA or fantasy football, or as you know that we're used to, pop culture. I try to do the best I can, man, with basically, trying to go ahead and provide some type of cool outlet for people to turn to in such dark times. So I'm going to go ahead and try and do my best to do that. But you're here to turn around my day, hopefully, in regards to, let's talk about some stuff that's going on in your life in regards to what you're seeing out there. And before we get into what you first came onto the show for many years ago, and it has been many years now, statistically, not just for you, like, dealing with me feels like many years. I want to go ahead into it and talk to you about basically what you're looking forward to, because we see more changes and more changes when it comes to the Snyder Cut from even last time we talked. And there's more and more being added to it. So I know you're going to be excited for that. But when it comes to all these superhero movies and also Star Wars, that basically two things that we love to talk about a lot. I know for you, it's just changed so much. But again, even though it gets pushed back, it's been pushed back, all these IPs, I know you're excited when something drops down for you when it comes out.
Yeah, look, there's heaps of things that I've been waiting for a really long time. One of them is the Black Widow movie. I just wish Disney would just put it out onto demand already, because I got to say, Melbourne in Victoria here was supposed to be released from lockdown literally at midday today, and he's just announced that he's going to be continuing lockdown because there's been one family breakout, so he's locking down 4 million people. So now, to be fair, that family did send their kids to school.
Yes, so, I hear you. I get the notices all the time that this kid's gone to the same dance class as your daughter at the same time. So you guys be aware. Or my wife at her work has two people coming down with this or that or whatnot. They have it. So it's a very scary period of time. So we need that type of diversion. And we need that type of something in our lives to look forward to. And in the past couple of years, the past 10 years, it's been superhero movies. The amazement of Marvel and where it's gone. And now DC being from the afterthought and the joke to something that's more relative and more, well, basically for us on the show, we've treated for the first period of time as an afterthought because they weren't treating themselves, as a serious nature, at least what the end result was. But they've now gone full circle and are now something to be look forward to. I mean, with Wonder Woman 84, that's basically sitting on a shelf right now. Will it come out this Christmas? We don't know. Again, that's another movie that would be just awesome to go straight to HBO Max. So let's just go ahead and do it. But obviously the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're already going to be losing behind it are simply just, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better anytime soon. So I think some of these movies have to start going ahead and realizing, you know what, bite the bullet now. Let's go ahead and get these out and start turning some type of revenue. Let's just get these movies out on streaming. The theaters limited as they are. Let's just get these movies done and over with, and so we can go on and move from there. you're not going to make your money back at this point.
No, and I think that there is a case to be made for making it pay on demand. So Mulan went straight to pay on demand on Disney Plus there, which we have here at the house. And I mean, it's $30, and I'm not going to spend $30 to watch Mulan. But for me to buy a
I
ticket,
did.
Did you?
I did.
And was that
I had a
30 bucks
young
well
lady in my
invested?
life who really wanted to go ahead and watch it. My whole family wanted to. Was it worth the $30? I mean, when you go ahead and say maybe $7 an individual, it was an I guess okay movie at best, but it really didn't move the needle. But again, enough people bought it. Maybe it's something that might work down the road.
Well, see, now this is my point. So for us here in Australia, it's a bit more expensive to go to the movies than just $7. So you're looking about sort of $15 to $22 for a
Yeah.
movie ticket. So by the time, even just for my small family of three, it's going to cost me $75 minimum, $80 by the time I get to the cinema, buy all the snacks and all that sort of stuff. So I did not pay to see Mulan on that pay on demand through Disney Plus, but I absolutely would pay to see Black Widow, for example, and I would happily pay $30 for that.
You and I both. Yeah. Take my money.
Yeah,
Right
exactly. Yeah. And I don't think that we would be the only one. So I think that there's got to be a point where, if they hold off waiting to deliver it in the cinema for so long, by the time they finally do, people are going to be like, "Oh, I'm kind of over the buzz of this now, and I'll just wait for it to come out for free on Disney Plus." So I think that there is a case to be made for hurrying these things up. Now, getting back to what you were saying about DC, there's a ton of interesting stuff coming out there for HBO Max, which I don't think we get here in Australia, but there are, the internet being the internet, there are other ways of finding things. But I would happily pay for it if it was available here in Australia. And the Snyder cut of Justice League sounds amazing. I don't know how I feel though. I was just reading the last 2 days about Leto's Joker making an appearance
and
in
also
the Snyder
Joseph
cut.
Manganiello, who is in the what was it, the end
Deathstroke.
scene. He is Deathstroke. He is making a larger entry into this. He's being brought back to film more scenes. How much more, we don't know, but he is obviously going to be something more than just the end credit scene we saw in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, now Manganiello as Deathstroke is something that I am excited about, and I would love to see more. Mostly because my wife really loves Manganiello, and anytime he's on screen, that always ends really well for me. But Jared Leto's Joker, I don't know if I'm all that excited about it. I didn't really like, although I mean, to be fair, we didn't get to see what the director intended in Suicide Squad, so maybe that's why his character doesn't really sit well with me. But it's just not something I'm super excited about. Seeing some more Green Lanterns appearing does sound pretty good. I do like the sound of that. I would like to see John Diggle from Arrow on the CW. I would like to see him have his turn in an Arrowverse version of Green Lantern, but I just didn't know that the budget would be there for what would be heavily sci-fi green screen special effects type thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that the DC universe is definitely taking itself a lot more seriously and sort of reevaluating their directions. It's going to be interesting to see if this new Snyder cut is going to kind of erase the previous direction that they had been taking and sort of realign their course for future movies, or if they're just going to have it just be like a little HBO Max special event type thing and just leave it at that. I think that's going to prove quite interesting.
Absolutely. I'm just in agreement with you there. This is something that's going to be quite interesting. At the time we had last spoke, it seemed like the rumors were going to be where they're only going to put $25 to $40 million into it. Obviously that price tag is gone even higher. And when all is said and done, if you include the reshoots and the original shoots, it's going to total as far maybe $400, $400 million $400 million in production value. As far as the actual production, as high as that 350, 400. So again, maybe HBO Max will never see the kind of return that it expected on it, but if it gets or garners HBO Max a huge windfall as far as new subscriptions or just people watching it, that's a win for Justice League. I don't know if it's going to change anything as far as the DCEU, which is going to be a shame because I wished upon all, well, not upon all wishes, but I wished that it had been given the kind of quality the first time around, because we would be seeing a very different, more organized DCEU than what we're seeing now, where it's scattered all over the place between 15 different Batmans and, Wonder Woman, in which decade is she going to appear next, and all that. So even though the stuff we're seeing is good when it comes to the Joker, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, the whole nine yards now, or the movies are finally good, it's still all over the place. And I wanted that overarching narrative, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to see that until the Flashpoint movie comes and pretty much either puts an eraser on a lot of it, which is going to be a shame because I wanted to see the Batfleck grow even more, but he doesn't want any more part of it after what we're going to see, maybe some small scenes. And now Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be the one that's taking his place instead.
Yeah, I was hoping that we were going to get to this multiple Batman stuff. Yeah, I'm
No, the
super
15
stoked.
Batmans. That's right.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about Michael Keaton making a comeback because he's actually my favorite Batman. That's one of the first movies I can remember going to see as a kid was the 1989 Batman, and it's still my favorite one. Still my favorite. So
And like I
I'm
say,
really
I'm not
excited.
discrediting it at all because I saw it and I enjoyed his character as well, and he is truly sensational. But I wish there were things that were set up in the Justice League with Batfleck, which I would have liked to have seen materialize that we never will, like a relationship with Wonder Woman and just the way he developed. He never really got his own movie, his own
No, he didn't.
standalone movie, which again should have been allowed to. He should have been allowed to given his own standalone movie before we say Batfleck was a failure or not. But we'll never know because he was never given the opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Although I mean, if this HBO Max does prove to be a huge success and the check's big enough, we may see Ben Affleck come back again.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I've just still on the Batman thing. I've been watching all these little bits of clips and things from the Batman. What are we up to now? 2021 or
Yeah,
2022, or they keep changing the
I
number on
think
it.
it's 2022. I think that's the latest
2022
one.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's subject to change without notice.
Mm. And it's almost like they're trying to turn Batman into like an emo punk.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how I sit with that. I mean, watching the footage of Edward Cullen there with his, he's got his dark eye makeup almost like the Crow, and he's got that kind of that floppy, soft, almost long black hair, and it's like I just don't know if emo punk is going to be the thing. But then I was reading something really interesting that was saying that Flashpoint is going to say that Edward Cullen, and I know that I'm using his Twilight name now. I can't remember the actor's name. I'm mental blanking. Um, he is not going to be technically replacing the 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 Batfleck. He's just going to be an alternate reality Batman
Yeah.
that's going to be introduced through Flashpoint.
Robert Pattinson, as far
Robert
as it's
Pattinson.
concerned. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
with Robert Pattinson, yeah, like you said, it's going to be something altogether different. Whether it's good or not, again, it's going to be judged on its own merit. But it's something that again the DC is going to, with Flashpoint, whenever it comes out, try to retcon some of it and get the DCEU back in line, which will be the shame if they never revisit the Justice League, because if it does turn out to be very successful, the Zack Snyder cut, and people will want more, it's going to be very. You've got yourself almost like a good problem on your hands because you've created a scenario where you finally got something right several years after you tried to get it right in the first place, when you already have other plans in place to go ahead and go into a different direction. So again, if it's a hit and it's a really big one, it's going to be a good problem to have for Warner Brothers.
How would you feel if they did try and hit it from both angles? So they did say that, like, say Flashpoint sets up all these different alternate realities, and instead of having one through line like the MCEU, they're going to say, "Here's a story from this reality, and here's a story from that reality." How would you feel about that, or would you prefer one consistent line?
As long as the aspirin is near me, because I'm going to probably get a headache, I'll be okay, I think.
That's from eye strain from trying to
Yes.
determine what's happening on those dark DCEU screens.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you what, my friend, before we start talking cooking and some great ideas that you have, I wanted to go ahead and touch on real quick something I know that you're excited for that's coming up at the end of this month. And yes, it's Halloween. I know that scary boo boo and all that, but it's The Mandalorian, which I know
Oh,
is something that a lot of people have been very, very excited for. It is coming out on October 30th to Disney Plus. I know you're excited about it. I know my daughter, who's got a Baby Yoda balloon on the other side of this door that I'm here in the studio at, is very excited for. And she's 15. So that tells you right there. But I will ask you this, my friend. It's something that you're still excited for. I know you've talked in such glowing terms about it. I have a feeling you're going to be very excited for what's upcoming in The Mandalorian.
mate, my whole household is super excited for this. We've got Mandalorian on Friday night, Halloween on Saturday night. It's just going to be incredible here, and as you're aware, my wife's American, so my house is the only house in the street that's decked out for Halloween. But all the kids make sure they come to our house, so we get to spend the night scaring them as well. But yeah, Mandalorian, I'm really really looking forward to that. And I haven't read yet because I haven't read too much into it because I'm trying to avoid any kind of spoilers. But I want to. I'm hoping that they drop it all in one go, so they don't drip it out week by week.
No, they have to.
Because,
You're going to see this now. All of them are doing it. The binge watching for now has been put on hold because simply the fact that all these streaming companies and streaming outlets, they don't have all the content. So they have to go ahead and space stuff out due to the production issues and things of that nature. So you are unfortunately going to be seeing, even in Netflix, which love to put things out for binge watching, is going to be
yeah,
doing, for the most part, putting these out on a week by week basis.
I'll just have to watch that first episode on Friday night like 4 times back to back. Then
There you go.
that's what's going to have to happen. But no, I am super excited about that. I'm really hoping that we do see Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. Huge crush on Rosario Dawson. I think she's fantastic. But yeah, the Mandalorian 2, sorry, season 2, I just can't wait. I absolutely adored season 1. I think it did a lot to repair the reputation of Star Wars after it took a bit of a beating through episodes 8 and 9. Which brings me to something that I did read about, the possibility of a director's cut of episode 9. Have you heard about that?
They've talked about it. I think there would be something like, as far as some other entities out there that might stretch your season. There's talk of WandaVision might getting extra episodes added because of what's going on with the coronavirus and production, stuff like that. There's talk about other series getting maybe an episode or two extended. The Walking Dead had to totally redesign the way it's doing the latter part of its series because of what's going on. So we could see maybe even extra episode or something of that nature, as far as possibly even, like you said, a director's cut being thrown in there just because. But it's something that I wouldn't put out of a realm of response. I wouldn't put out of the entire realm of possibilities, simply because of the fact that you need content in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, well, if the content's already sitting there and they're stuck in a position where they can't create new stuff at the moment, I mean, this is prime time for director's cuts of all these different things. Because I have read that like JJ came out and said that episode 9 is nothing like what the movie he envisioned. So, it would be really interesting to see what his vision was. But just getting back to Mandalorian season 2, you see all these different gossip stories about Pedro Pascal marching off set and quitting and blah 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 blah. And I hope that that's all just internet scuttlebutt.
I'm sure it is.
I'm a sucker for getting sucked into these YouTube clickbait videos, and Pedro Pascal's quit, and then you get into the video and you're 3/4 of the way through, and they finally say, "Well, it is a rumor at this stage." And you're like, oh, okay, it's not actually news; it's just
clickbait.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's going to walk away from that, especially if you have to. He barely shows his face. He barely actually even does the in life, in actual acting. It's all, a lot of it for him is voice acting from his house probably, or studio. So
yeah,
Yeah, so for him, it's an easy gig, and I take it anytime if it was offered to me, I could get that. So, be that as it may, it's still something we're very, very excited for. I look forward to it. It was a movie that, it was a series that garnered many Emmys, and just really excited for what's to come in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Oh,
same. Absolutely stoked.
it's just always awesome talking pop culture, my friend. Before we head on out, though, I got to get some tips for this holiday season. And before I let you go, I asked first off, before we get to a main dish, because that's always the best way to leave off. I always want to try to throw a little tweak, something a little different at you. So I got this time around the idea of, people shouldn't be holding parties. People shouldn't be holding family gatherings because of the consequences that can sometimes happen because of it. But let's say in theory they do a Zoom family gathering like I do with my family. It's all through Zoom. I want to go ahead and hear your thoughts of what type of hors d'oeuvres could you be serving at this theoretically Zoom family gathering? Because I don't want to proponent, I don't want to go ahead and throw out there, yeah, I have a family gathering. No. Gerald said you could. No.
But Dr. Gerald said it was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you just need to have a quick chaser of a cup of bleach after each bite of meal.
Yeah, well, don't get me started on there.
I'm just joking. Do not drink a cup of bleach, anybody out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll have a really bad day. Look, Zoom has a fantastic array of opportunities. And in my podcast that I do, the Smoke Your Confessions Barbecue podcast, I actually interviewed mental blanking now. Oh, I can't. Hang on. I've got it right in front of me here. Harry Sue. Sorry. So Zoom has opened up this whole range of opportunities here. And just recently I interviewed Harry Sue, and he's in LA and I'm here in Australia. And we set up a time that was going to be dinner time over there for him. And so what he did was he just took his little Apple earpod things and he popped them in his ears, and he had his iPhone on a tripod. And he would sit and he would talk to me while he was out cooking in his yard, and then he'd sort of show me what he was cooking and then put it back together, and we'd keep continuing with the podcast. Then we'd cut back to his barbecue, what he was cooking, and that sort of thing. And so Zoom has the real opportunity to make virtual family backyard cookouts. So you could get, just pop your iPhone on a tripod, put in your earbuds, and you can get, Uncle Tom and Nana Joan and get all them onto Zoom as well. And you can set up your own barbecue in your own backyard, and you can literally cook together. You can chop things up together, put them on skewers together, light the charcoal together, pop them on, sit there and eat them together and talk about it. And so you can virtually recreate all these different holiday get-togethers. It's just that instead of one person taking the responsibility of cooking everything for the whole family coming over, everyone's going to be cooking their own little bits for their own self. So technology has definitely afforded us a whole lot of opportunities that we didn't have before. And one upside of the pandemic is that we've been able to see some of the hidden power of these technologies that we have had for years. I mean, Zoom's been out for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I first started using it in 2016, I think, and it had been out for a while then. So yeah, there's some great opportunities there. And one of the things that I love to do is charcoal grilled oysters in the shell, because I live on the ocean here on the seafront. We get all the fishing boats and the dive boats. We can go straight out to the boats, buy it straight off the docks, and come home and get the charcoal set up. If you keep the oysters in the shell, you can actually use the natural shape of the shell and just slot that in between the bars on the grill, and that'll hold them upright. And then you can flavor them with whatever you want. You can put in like a little dash of vodka and some Tabasco sauce, or you could do a full-blown oysters Kilpatrick, which is one of my favorites. Some grilled diced bacon, some finely diced and grilled onion, some barbecue sauce, and sort of stir that up and plop that in on top of the oysters and let that bubble away and let the oyster cook in that mixture there. And there's just so many different opportunities there that you can do. And I'm leaning towards seafood for this holiday season, because I don't know about you, but the COVID kilos have definitely caught up with me during this period. I think I'm up in your language, it'd be about 20 pounds. So we're starting to lean more towards some seafood dishes in our house. So we are looking at, oysters and salmon and mussels and, you know, uh, clams and all that sort of thing. So that's the direction that we're heading. And if with some simple technology that you already own, you can still have that get together and still cook together and still eat together. And that's a real opportunity to be taken advantage of.
Next time, I might actually, when I get you back on here, I might actually do it while I'm grilling from my indoor grill.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, we got sent over to us. Thank you, by the way, to Dr. Byron Jr., my son from Texas. He sent over to us a grill that's part hot pot, part Korean
Okay.
grill. So I'm going to have to go ahead and maybe use the grill part on our next time that we get together. And so we can go ahead and chat about pop culture and great food while I'm going and grilling. And you can go ahead and critique me, which I'm sure you will, because you're the master and I'm only the student per se in this equation. So we'll go ahead and see if we can cut that on the next time around. But before we head on out, any holiday tips, just general holiday tips. You don't have to go on a main course or anything like that, but any general holiday tips for people out there in regards to what they need to do, because obviously with all that's gone on in 2020, closing out the year safe, closing out the year festive, we need our spirits higher than any point in time, maybe in the last 20, 30 years. It's been this has not been a good year for many people out there, and closing it out the right way would be awesome, and having a good festive way to do it. But any advice on how to make that happen?
Yeah, look, my advice would be to make the most of the opportunities that you have presented. So, okay, so you can't get everybody together. Great. Take the pressure off. Don't worry about cooking a giant meal to feed 20 people. Just worry about cooking for 3 people or 4 people. And instead of getting a whole turkey, get just a turkey breast or the double breast, or turkey wings are actually starting to get to become quite a thing here as well in Australia. If you got like a Weber kettle, push your charcoal baskets together in the middle, season up the turkey wings, put them all around the outside, get that charcoal cranking as hot as you possibly can. The rounded lid on the Weber is going to reflect that heat back down around the outside. You're going to end up with some delicious, crispy skinned turkey wings, which is a really delicious way to have turkey without a lot of the stress and the hassle of having to try and
Oh
cook a
my
whole
goodness.
bird.
You're doing it to
So
me again. You're doing it to me again.
yeah, so I- don't look at the COVID situation as limitations and restrictions. Look for the opportunities that it presents. So the holiday times are always really stressful. So take that pressure off yourself. You don't need to cook for all those people. Find lots of simple little things to do. One thing I'm really excited about is I've just finally found a blackberry supplier here on the Gold Coast, because blackberries are really hard to find. And so I'm going to be making up just some little small trays of blackberry cobbler that I'm going to roast in the Weber over charcoal. And I'm really looking forward to these different opportunities, and I'm really looking forward to being able to share some of these different cooking adventures that I'm going to take, using exactly what I said, using Zoom and some earbuds, and sharing that out through the Smoking Hot Confessions barbecue community and doing all that sort of thing as well. So that would be my advice: is just look for the silver linings, look for the opportunities to take some of the pressure off yourself, because you're probably already super stressed out as it is. So be kind and take care of yourself.
Great advice indeed from a good man who you've got to follow today. I've just got 3 words for you. Go to Google. Actually, I've got a little bit more than that.
I was gonna
Go
say
to
that's it.
Google.
That's 3 words. You're done.
Go to Google. Type in these words: Smoking Hot Confessions. And the whole experience known as Smoking Hot Confessions comes up. Before we head on out, my friend, I need you to go ahead and give everyone the lowdown on why the Smoking Hot Confessions not only is a great place to go, that's not a cult, but my gosh,
Not yet.
the smell, not yet, but the smell of the great food that might come that way might just lead you all the way in.
Yeah. So Smoking Hot Confessions, we're Australia's #1 source for all things barbecue. And through the podcast, we explored not just the Australian barbecue scene, but the American barbecue scene as well. One of my most recent episodes, I was talking with Ray Sheehan of Barbecue Buddha from New Jersey, for example, and talking about his new cookbook and all that sort of thing. So we do cover all the different corners of the barbecue industry. We do recipes, we do how-tos, we do advice, we do different videos for different things that you can do on the grill. We've got our podcast, which is now released in video and in audio form as well, which has gone great guns. So, you know, we really hit it from all sides. We do have the smokinghotconfessions.com website where you can go to grab all some Smoking Hot Confessions hats and t-shirts and, very important, some vacuum insulated drinking containers, which is always very important to keep your water icy cold while you're barbecuing, and all of that sort of gear as well. So the website is the hub for everything. That's where we do post all the recipes and the how-tos, tips, advice, articles. Each episode of the podcast gets its own page on there, and then we are all over the socials as well. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I do have a TikTok account, but I'm not particularly disciplined about TikToking. There's only
Just let the grill sing instead of you.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting. Actually, I could just sort of grab the Weber lid and sort of lift it up in time with the music to make it look like the Weber's singing. I like that.
There you go. Well, once again, just type in Smoking Hot Confessions, and the whole experience of great barbecue grilling, great ideas, great people to talk to, and so much more is all right there for you. The videos, the podcasts, the articles, so much more. It's all right there for you at Smoking Hot Confessions. And again, there's no better place to go for all your food needs than smokinghotconfessions.com. Well, my friend, it's been great talking to you as always. I love it when I get to talk to my great friend from Australia, Ben Arnot. So many years dealing with me, this Yank right here in the U.S., I guess is how you guys say it. I'm just so pleased and so honored as always. I will get you back on the program ASAP. And again, I just might do it straight from the grill.
Sounds good to me, mate. I look forward to it.
I look forward to it as well. And as always, I look forward to having you a part of the pop culture cosmos.